Hello everyone, I am MAYANK ARORA, Faculty of Journalism and Mass Communication Department in Tecnia Institute of Advanced Study. Today I deliver a lecture on a topic of steps involved in production and utilization of TV programs. Following are 15 basic steps required for an elaborate television production. Once you get a feel for the entire process, you can scale things down for any sized production. The first one is, this is the most important step. Clearly identify the production goals and purposes. If there is no clear agreements on the goal and purpose of a production, it will be impossible to evaluate its success. How will you know if you are arrived at your dissemination if you did not where you are going in the first place? Is the purpose to instruct, inform or entire, or may to generate feeling of pride or express a social, religious or political needs? Is the real purpose to create desire in the audience to make some actions? Let's be honest, the primary goal of the most broadcasting is simply to hold the interest of an audience through the interviewing commercials. The second one is analyze your target audience. Based on such things as age, sex, social economic status and educational level program content, preference will differ. These preferences are also different in various regions of the United States. Example, north, south, urban, rural. As we have noted, we refer to audience characteristics as demographics. We can see regional demographic variation in parts by different in local programming in various areas of the country, and sometimes by the film and network programming. The local station decide not to air. Sex and violence are chief among these content issues and both show a positive relationship to rating. Identify demographic to determine the acceptability of context. Knowing your audience, of course, is crucial to success, and not understanding it is at the base of many failure. It has long been known that violence and sex are two major elements in rating success, generally speaking, and of course, there are many expectations when it comes to sexual themes. People living in northern urban area of the United States tends to be more tolerant than people who have a rural background and live in the south. Educational is also related. Research shows that generally the more educated the audience, the less they object to sexual themes intentionally. It appears that this relationship seems to be reserved when it comes to violence. Therefore, program rating and what is and is not broadcast are largely determined by audience feedback, and this varies greatly with demographic. You may have a compulsion to just tell it like it is and not be concerned about allying your audience. If you constantly disagreed audience preference and prescription, your limit your future in TV production. But if you are not producing programming for broadcast or general distribution, compared to standard broadcast television, initially television, which include corporate and educational video, has different need and expectations, but here too predominating demographic characteristics such as age, sex and education influence a production form and context. For example, to understandable education or experience and invidiously talk down to an audience, insult them. To overestimate education or experience and talk over people, had it just as bad. Either way you lose. Third one is check out similar production. Check out similar production for the past. If you are going to make mistakes, at least make new ones. Ask yourself some questions. How will your proposed production differ from previous successful and unsuccessful efforts by others? Why did they work? Or maybe more importantly, why did not they? Of course, since production style change rapidly, you need to take into considerable difference in time, location and audience. This will take more information on the success and failure of TV program. The fourth one is determine the basic value of your production. Next, determine the overall value of the production to a sponsor's understandable. Obviously, underwriters and advertisers want something in return to their investment. For this, you all need to ask yourself some questions. First, what is the probable size of the audience? In determine this, you must know if your show will be a one-shot presentation or if you can recount production expenses over time by presenting the show to other audience. Generally, the larger the audience, the more marketable a production will be an underview or advertisers. At the same time, simply members don't tell the full story. Let's say an advertiser has a product designed for your young people, athlete, shoes or designer jeans. In this case, a production that draws a large percentage of this age group will be more valuable than a production that a large overall audience but a lower percentage of your young people. Broadcasters have cancelled many TV series not because they had a small audience but because they had the wrong kind of audience. The fifth one is develop a treatment or production proposal. Next, put it down a paper. You recall that earlier we talked about the treatment and program proposal. After the program proposal or treatment is approved, the next step is to write and submit a full script. It will be at its point that any remaining research on the context will be considered. For example, if the script calls for someone watching TV in a 1960 period piece that take place during a specific historical area, you should check on the television through broadcast at that time. Would we have to see an episode of Law and Order on a TV screen during a documentary? The first version of a script is often by the numerous revised version. Throughout the rewriting process, a number of story conference or script conference typically take place. During these sessions, audience appeal, peace and problems with special interest groups etc. are discussed. If it is an institutional production, you will review the production goals and pose questions about the most effective ways to present ideas. If the director is on board at that time, he or she should be part of these conferences. Finally, a script version emerges that is, we can hope, more or less acceptable to everyone. Even this version, however, will probably not be final. In many instances, scene revision continue right up to the time these scenes are shot. Typically, in a dramatic film production, each new script version is issued on a different color paper so that the cast and crew won't confuse them with earlier version. Depending on the production, you may want to develop a storyboard. A storyboard consists of drawing of key scenes with corresponding notes on elements such as dialogue, sound effect and music. Not this simple storyboard here. Today, film and production create storyboard with software program designed for this purpose. I hope you understand my lecture. Thank you all.